Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you ever so much for coming today. We do understand you have a busy operation to run, and this session will only last 1.5 hours. And you have to bear with me as well, and maybe Justina, because I'm not really good in opening speech. But as mentioned on our previous HOM meeting, that we are truly excited to relaunch and reintroduce our hospitality apprenticeship program in partnership with Heat Training. Bernadette is here in the house today. And we invited Bernadette. Actually, in fact, they're the one who will take initiative to say, like, we are more than happy to come to your place just to voice out what this apprenticeship is all about. So Bernadette is here today to give us an overview or outline of what's happening during the apprenticeship process so that everybody has a clear understanding of how it works and how we can actually be involved in. And we're having a conversation with Bernadette earlier. Apprenticeship is not only about filling job role, it's about having an investment in our team and developing our team to be the Z future leader of the organization. And with that, having said that, of course, it will build a stronger team. And with the support of Bernadette and the Heat Training, and of course, like everybody else, when you gain your learning, your experience, it gives us confidence. And that confidence will give us a boost to progress in our career. And hopefully, by our team joining the apprenticeship program, they will be an advocate or they will build a career in hospitality industry. So that's the reason why you are all here today in the first session of that. But before I hand over the floor to Bernadette, and today we're celebrating the apprenticeship week. And Justina has something to say to us as well.
So hello everyone, nice to see a nice attendance on this first session. So today, as Helen mentioned, marks a beginning of Apprenticeship National Week. So we believe it's a great opportunity for us to highlight the importance of lifelong learning, and also them for this year is Skills for Life. And by joining apprenticeship programs, you actually gain skills that you will carry whole your life. So it's something that actually adds value to your personal growth and professional skills. So let's take the most out of it. And also today we have Chloe with us who will share the first-hand experience so you can see how actually it can boost the personal growth and how you and your teams can benefit from it. So hopefully you will find this session meaningful, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Rose. And developing our team to be the Z future leader of the organization. And with that, having said that, of course, it will build a stronger team. And with the support of Bernadette and the Heat Training, and of course, like everybody else, when you gain your learning, your experience, it gives us confidence. And that confidence will give us a boost to progress in our career. And hopefully, by our team joining the apprenticeship program, they will be an advocate or they will build a career in hospitality industry. So that's the reason why you are all here today in the first session of that. But before I hand over the floor to Bernadette, and today we're celebrating the apprenticeship week, and Justina has something to say to us as well.
So hello everyone, nice to see a nice attendance on this first session. So today, as Helen mentioned, marks a beginning of Apprenticeship National Week. So we believe it's a great opportunity for us to highlight the importance of lifelong learning, and also them for this year is Skills for Life. And by joining apprenticeship programs, you actually gain skills that you will carry whole your life. So it's something that actually adds value to your personal growth and professional skills. So let's take the most out of it. And also today we have Chloe with us who will share the first-hand experience so you can see how actually it can boost the personal growth and how you and your teams can benefit from it. So hopefully you will find this session meaningful, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Rose.
Sarah, you can just put yourself on mute, could you, please? Thank you.
So now, no further ado, we hand it over now to Bernadette.
So good morning, my name is Bernadette, or Bernie is absolutely fine as well. So I'm the area manager for teacher training. I look after the London team. So I'm here today just to give you a little bit more insight into the apprenticeship scheme and how it can work for you guys and obviously your teams. So I'm not going to do massive depth by PowerPoint, quite informal. You know, if anyone's got any questions that are going through, just please let me know. Otherwise, we can have a bit of a round up at the end. So we're HIT Training. We have been established since 2006. We have, and it says there, trainings up and down the country. So we have offices from Carlisle down to Devon and Cornwall, as I look after the London team. And we're all from a hospitality background. So we really pride ourselves in that all of our trainers have been in your shoes and have worked in the industry. And more so, we put our trainers through apprenticeships as well when they join us. So they really understand how apprenticeships work as well. So we like to think that we are industry experts. We do have quite a big company and we do look after, as it says there, HIT Training. Yeah, 2006. So a long time. And I've been here since 2011, I want to say. Yes, so going on 14 years. We're really about understanding your business, being an extension of a business. We don't want to be seen as HIT Training. We want to be seen as a, extension to Z Hotels, really get involved with what you do. I quite like my OBTs to be able to spend a day working with you guys. So we really understand the ethos and what you do and be able to use the same sort of, language and visions and values that you have as well. So expertise, as it says, as I say, we've all worked in the industry. We know when things are difficult and, those problems that happen. And what we want to be able to do is give you that support and advice and knowledge to be able to make you more confident in dealing with situations and also your team members. Because we have local teams, then we will always be face to face. We think that's much more important when it comes to delivery. There are some aspects that are done online and self-study, but I think being here with you and watching your team's work, it just builds that relationship, makes the whole experience much more better, in our opinion. Passion, pride, we work in hospitality because it's a great sector, right? And at the moment, it's having a bit of a bad patch. We're still looking at recruitment's down, cost of living, etc. So we're really about how can we retain, look after the team that you've got, make them the future, but also attract people into the industry. And we're all about helping you support with that as well. Just some of the clients we work with, so obviously, comparative to you guys, obviously De Vere, Hotel de Vin, Maison, but yeah, we work with lots and lots of sectors across London and the country. The main thing for us is looking after the team that you've got. So we offer apprenticeships from level 2 up to level 7. For you guys, specifically, it's level 2s, 3s and 5s. So level 2 are hospitality team members, and that covers front of house, reservations, reception, back house as well, etc. So your chefs. Level 3 is hospitality supervisor, and again that has a specialist route, so depending what department you work and look after. And then the level 5 is operational departmental management as well. All qualifications are a minimum of 12 months and 1 day. The 1 day is very important. It's the government policy, so they have to stay on programme for 366 days. So that's the minimum the time that anybody has to be on an apprenticeship with us. The level 3s and level 5s, slightly longer because of the intensity of the course. So normally they're about 15 to 18 months, dependent on how they are progressing through their qualification. We do also offer some other qualifications. We have retail, events assistant, but then we have some of the business support elements as well. So business development, sales exec. So there is some other opportunities in terms of the teams that might be available to you, and obviously that will come from Helen and the team. So delivery model. How we do our delivery is we have a mixture of online and face-to-face assessment, as I said. So when anybody shows their expression into an apprenticeship, we go through an onboarding process. So we will send out what's called a skills scan, and that gets that person just to assess their skills along with you as their line managers to make sure that the qualification they're applying for is the best for them. So there has to be an element of some stretch and learn, but a basic understanding. So what we wouldn't expect is a level 2 team member wanting to do a level 5 qualification, because obviously that would be too far a stretch. So we want to make sure that it's the most suitable qualification for them. They also have to do a maths and English assessment. So I know that maths and English is quite worrying for some people. It should never be seen as a test or to put people off or to worry them. There's obviously a massive skills gap, and the government are really pushing to make sure that hospitality have an element of maths and English as part of their understanding. So we do the assessment just to see where people are at the beginning of their journey. We have lots and lots of functional skills support. So although we're from hospitality industry, we do have functional skills tutors who do understand maths and English. The best thing to do, and when you're explaining to your teams, and if they've got any worries, and obviously I'll speak to them this afternoon, is that it's functional. So it should be about the business. It shouldn't be stuff that you did at school that nobody's used since they've walked out the doors. It should be very much about, understanding P&L, profit, budgets, how to communicate, write emails using spelling, punctuation and grammar if they get involved in that. So it should be very much about the workplace. They shouldn't be put off thinking it's going to be, an intense maths or English qualification. We do that assessment at the beginning, so then we can put together a plan and say, well, actually, you're really, really good at fractions. You've just forgotten how to work out perimeters, whatever it might be. And we put that together, and there is a support plan in place for them. And it's about encouragement and helping them drive their skill levels. If there's instances where the maths and English are too low to go onto the qualification, then we can offer them additional support separate. They don't need to go onto the full apprenticeship. We can look at other avenues to make sure they're getting that development, because what we don't want to do is put them under too much pressure and then they leave the qualification because they feel like the maths and English is hampering them. We want to make sure they have the right support all the way through. Once that's done, we then do an onboarding enrolment where we go through the criteria. It's all done electronically. So there's no paperwork and stuff. It's done electronically. It's usually done online, face-to-face, just because of the way the system's set up, but we can do them face-to-face as well. And then once you start, you have online knowledge bites. So that will give the apprentice the knowledge behind the module they're doing. So if they're doing people, for example, it will just give them different leadership styles, different ways of communication with people. They'll keep the online knowledge bite. They'll then attend an online interactive workshop. So that will be with other people doing the same qualification, but could be from different establishments. Could be from hotels, could be from restaurants, could even be from care homes or school kitchens if it's lower levels. It's a really nice way of meeting other people who are doing the same qualifications and working in the industry, sharing best practice. You might come away with some tips and stuff that you might bring back into the business. It's just a really good environment to learn new skills. Following that, your trainer who is assigned to you will come and visit you here on site. So normally every 4 to 6 weeks, you'll have a visit by our trainer. So it will go knowledge by interactive workshop. Usually 2 weeks after you've had your workshop, the trainer will come out and say, so tell me what you've learned. How have you taken that back into the business in terms of your job role and how you're going to develop that. And all the while we're doing functional skills within that as well. So that delivery model goes all the way through, and it can be adapted. If people prefer to have more face-to-face, then that's what we do. If people actually quite like the online, we'll do that as well. It's about the learning. So although we have a curriculum to follow and there's certain standards we have to meet, it can be adapted to that learner. Some people prefer to have paper and highlighters and mind maps. Some people prefer to do it all online or listen to what they're doing. So we can adapt it to suit them. At the end of all the training and the development, you then go and have what's called a gateway meeting. So that's a meeting that will involve the learner, the trainer and their line manager or mentor, whoever has been supporting them through their qualification. And it's at that point we decide, is that learner ready to do their endpoint assessment? The learner won't go in and do their exams unless everybody is confident that they have the best chance of achieving. Our goal is to get someone through and they get a distinction on all elements first time. And if there's an element that we're not sure that they're quite ready, then we're doing more training. We don't want to push anyone in if they're not ready. And it's really important that we have that line manager or that mentor's input as well at that point. And then they go into an endpoint assessment. So that's done by a separate company to us, and they just come in and they will assess on the criteria that that qualification meets. So it could be an observation, multiple choice questions, a professional discussion. There might be a business project that they have to work through and present as part of the assessment as well. So each qualification has different assessment methods at the end. And then at that, the learner then gets their qualification, it's theirs to keep, it's nationally recognised, they get certificates, and obviously it's a huge achievement for them to have as part of their progression, part of their CV to show that they've done a work-based learning qualification whilst working full-time, part-time as well. And in terms of, for you guys in leaderships, it's then having that to look at progression. Can they then, a 2 can go to a 3 to a 5 and looking at their development and career progression as well. So Bud is our online learning platform. It's really interactive. Obviously very cheesy, but it's like our buddy. But they can go on and upload all of their evidence on there. It's how we communicate through the portals. We send messages to the learners. And as managers and also from the L&D HR team, you're able to go in and have an overview of where all your learners are across the company. Are they progressing? Are they keeping ahead of target? Have they missed visits? Why? What support do they need? It just makes it really communication really free and open. I think that's the key to any apprenticeship, is making sure that we always have that communication all the way through. Endpoint assessment, as I spoke about, so yeah, that's some of the things that they will cover. And all the way through, what we do, what the trainers will do is do mocks of them to make sure they're ready and that they're confident. The professional discussion is usually the most daunting part of the qualification, I think, because it's usually an hour that you have a conversation about the qualification that you've done and all the modules and topics. So that can be the most daunting one. So we always do lots of practice of those to make sure they feel comfortable. Bespoke apprentices, obviously, as I said, we want to be seen as an extension of your training. So if there's elements that you think are coming up often in heads of department meetings or from customer feedback, you think this is an area we really need to focus on, then we can help with that as well and drive sort of some bespoke training sessions for you guys. And then we can brand stuff so we can make it look said hotel. We want to be part of that. So when it comes to leaflets or fact sheets, we can do that for you as well to just so that people really see it as part of their training development. We also do run short courses as well, so little one-day courses that can be run. So some of the ones that are quite popular is usually managing resilience and change, which has been huge at the moment. But yeah, anxiety and mental health first aid is usually a good one that we run as well. They're just some additional stuff that we do. I think that's it, really. So some of the people we work with, some of the stuff they've said about us. Yeah, just a bit more about us. Obviously, we're Ofsteded. Some of the awards that we've won, we're up for some more awards this year. Yeah, I think that's everything from me. Any questions? I know it's quite a lot. You're probably like, oh, on a Monday morning. But yeah, is there anything you want to discuss, talk about, worried about?
I have a question. In regards to sorry, in regards to the short courses, is that embed on the apprenticeship program or just separate?
They're separate. But if there is elements you go, actually, we think a manager or a leader could deal with that, then we can absolutely put some elements in to stretch, and have those as well.
All right. Thank you.
I've got one quite similar. So about the bespoke apprenticeships. So how does that actually work? So is that just an add-on to an apprenticeship program, or is that?
Yeah, so we might have clients who are doing level 5 ODM, operational management, and they might say, actually, there's this element that we want to cover, and we would hold like a workshop and bring them all in together and have that like as an add-on. Or some of the Chef Academy stuff that we do, they might have sort of bespoke menus and they go, actually, what we want them to train. So we'd have Chef Academies running those as well. But yeah, but if there's stuff that you go, actually, this would be really good for our team, then we can put that together as a national thing.
I will leave the floor to any questions?
Just more curiosity, level 6 and level 7 was about that for?
So that's that you have to speak to the guy, but yeah, we do that with Arden University. So they are MBA and degree apprenticeships. They usually run for 24 months, but they're done remotely, so it's all online because it's done with a partner that we have. But yeah, we do level 7 and 6 qualifications as well.
You're required to be on a degree, or it's just separate?
Separate, yeah, so you don't need to go 2, 4, 5 to get there, but you would need to have quite a lot of industry experience to be able to, because it obviously is quite an extensive course.
Is there any deadline for enrollment? Because I might have people that are interested to join, but they said they have quite a lot on the plate at the moment, so they might want to wait in a couple of months, 2, 3 months.
Yes.
Is there?
That's fine, yeah, so the luxury of work-based learning is that it doesn't follow sort of a college or university timetable. You can enrol as and when your team are ready and as you see fit. So you could have 1 this month and 6 in April. So yeah, whatever works best for you, whether you want to do it cohorted, you might say that actually you want your managers to go on together, so they've got like a bit of a working group, or because of the nature of the business and what's going on, you might do them separate. Yeah, there's no as and when they're ready. Yeah, the onboarding is usually pretty quick. Once we've got the details, they complete their assessments and that skill scan, and then we can have them enrolled within sort of 48 hours. They can be on the programme.
Is there, once you start the apprenticeship, do you think the team member can pause that like for a month or 2 due to their busy schedule or holidays and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a way of pausing. So what happens is the apprenticeships are funded by an apprenticeship levy, which is obviously Z Hotels have this pot that they have to pay into that they can use for you guys to do apprenticeships. If a learner has to pause because of health issues, personal issues, they decide to go home, go travelling, then we just pause it at that point, and that stops the money being drawn down from the funding pot. And then as and when they come back, we restart it, and the time that they've been paused for gets added to the end. So if they're paused for 3 months, they get that 3 months at the end. So they still have the time to catch up and hit those deadlines.
Okay, thank you.
If anyone leaves for any reason, then again, it's stopped. If they go to, if they're still within the hospitality industry, they can take it with them and we can reach out to the new employer. But hopefully this is about keeping the guys with you and the retention and offering this apprenticeship. They do cost a fair amount of money. So, I don't think, that's a secret, and you can let them know that actually this is an investment for you as a business, to their team and their development. Yeah, they start at £5,000, they go up to £9,000-10,000. So yeah, it's a fair amount of money that you're investing in your teams, which is good.
Thank you.
Each level is 15 to 18 months.
So 12 months and 1 day is the minimum. So that's at the end, and then the higher levels will probably be 15 to 18 months. There might be learners that have maths and English already from a previous qualification or GCSE A levels. So they don't have to do that as part of the apprenticeship. Obviously, that takes a huge chunk of the time. So then 12 months is achievable. But yeah, because of the nature of the level 5s, level 3s, we normally say 15 to 18 months. But they can complete earlier if they're ahead and actually they're finding they're progressing well. They don't have to go all the way to 18 months.
In follow-up of that, Bernadette, when it comes to earlier, how early they can actually complete it?
12 months in a day. Yeah, 366 days is very important. Yeah, we've tried. And then they come back and say they haven't met the time. I'm like,
And during the enrollment, our leadership team, because they are the line managers, they need to be present during
Absolutely.
the enrollment.
yeah, right from the off. So that very first skill scan, I'd ask you to be involved in, because they might rate themselves 9, 10s out of everything, and you're going, maybe you're not quite there yet, or they might actually put themselves at 1s and 2s, and you might go, no, actually you do know a bit more, you're probably like 4s or 5s. So it's important that we have you from the off. When we have that enrolment form, we invite you along. One, we need your signatures to say that you're happy for them to do the qualification, but just so you have a full understanding of what the modules are going to look like, because they might reach out to you and say, actually, can I spend a bit of time with you to understand how you put the rotors together and how you look at the budget and how you do the ordering, because that might be an element that they need to look at. So yeah, absolutely, involvement is key. Yeah.
And they will have access to the budget as well.
Yeah, so you can go in and you can see when visits are happening. You're also invited to a 12-week review, we call them. So although the learner is seen every 4 to 5 weeks, every 12 weeks is a bit more formal. So we invite you and we say, this is what the learner's done in the last 12 weeks. This is what is planned for the next, and with your involvement. And then you can give your input to say what's working, what's not working, what we can do more of, what you're enjoying. And those visits are always booked in advance. We will try not to obviously impact the business, because that's obviously still key. That's what I haven't spoken about yet, off the job training. So 20% of anybody that's on an apprenticeship has to be spent off the job. So they have to be learning new skills. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to roast them off every Friday and they have to be doing their work. it should be embedded into their working week. So although it's called off the job, I think the terminology is not quite correct. It can be about if they're learning new skills within the business, if there's a new menu that's going live, if they're attending a training session or team meetings. That is all new learning, new skills. That could be counted to off-the-job training. Obviously, when they attend our workshops, they are normally run 9:30 to 11:30 or 2 to 4. So that, again, is counted as off-the-job learning because they're learning new skills when they spend time with their trainers. So don't see it as, how am I going to fit this in because I need to give them a week off, a day off a week. It's not that at all. And nor should they be coming to you either and saying, oh, I need to be off for 8 hours on Friday because I've got to do my apprenticeship work. It should be embedded into their learning and their working week. And we will work with you in terms of this is what constitutes off-the-job learning. It's our responsibility to record it as the provider. So we will give you that support as well.
And one last question from me.
Yeah.
In terms of, because as we had a conversation earlier, majority of us really like dreading about the functional skills. But when we fail, for example, the English and math, it doesn't mean that we are not eligible to take the course, right?
No, that's why we do that assessment at the beginning. We check where your strengths and weaknesses are, and we put a plan in place. We have online workshops, we've got loads of resources, we've got really good tutors. We won't put you in for your exams until we really think you're ready. But if anyone fails their exam, they can resit it. And actually, sometimes they go in and that gives you a better overview to say, okay, now you've given the exam a go, you know, the format looks like these, and we get a report as well that tells you where you've missed marks, and then we can come back and do that again. So yeah, that doesn't mean you're done and dusted. You can attempt it again, and we'll support you with that.
Thank you. Any other questions? So hopefully the process of apprenticeship is really clear. Skills can, and then they will have the functional test enrollment that you need to be involved in every 12 weeks. They need to be involved, and you will have access to the bud itself. And to bring it to life about what we said. Oh, sorry.
No, that's not
Anything else?
No. I was going to maybe bring up Chloe's bud paper. I won't show you what it looks like.
So to bring it to life, about what we said about the beauty of apprenticeship, we'd like to call on Chloe about the success story. And one actually is going through that journey. Nico is also almost at the end of it. So Chloe, may we invite you in the front because you got audience online? Audience said story. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I would like to share with you my journey being in the apprenticeship. So it was a challenge to start. I think it's all about hard work, dedication, and grow. It's very important that if you go through the apprenticeship, you put all the effort you can inside. It was a great journey. Was not easy every day. I wanted to give up a lot of time, but I think you need to self-motivate yourself. The most complicated, I think, was when I had to do the English and mathematics. So some of you know already that I'm dyslexic, so I had to pass my writing exam like 2 or 3 times. I don't remember, but I have to pass it a few times. But I got it straight away, surprisingly. Then I think the challenge was also to create the 4,000 word project, because 4,000 words is a lot. So I spent approximately 8-9 hours on a day writing the projects, deleting, starting again, deleting, correcting. I had a lot of support as well. I asked help to Lina, I sent to Jill, to Francesco to get some feedback. I think it's also about, it's a great journey to do, because you're going to learn skills that you might not learn in the hotel. That's, yes, we have a lot of training and everything, but there are things that you need to learn that is outside of the company as well, and will give you more strength for the future as well, for your personal growth. There is a lot of advantage to be in the apprenticeship. You can have discount as well. I forgot to mention this. So you have the Oyster card discounts as an apprenticeship. You have the 2 Yeah, because we changed the name. Before was Nexus. So it's Totem. So you have like discounts in restaurant shops. You can have like free ticket and all these kind of things. So it's quite interesting. You got a lot of outside training. So Nicoletta was mentioning this morning, we have a lot of events. You can go on it. You do some training, you get some extra diploma. I think about the time I spend on it. I think it's very depending of the people. As you all know, I have a work alcoholic, so I was doing in the bus, I was doing during the weekend, in the evening. It's just because I didn't want to be late on my own task. So that's why I was, and I wanted to do it quick as possible. So as soon as I was finishing, so it was behind me. You need to don't give up. You need to be self-motivated because this is an opportunity that the company is offering to you. I don't know, we didn't mention about the price, but the company is spending between 5 to 10,000 pounds for you. So I think it's very important that if you could do for it, you get, you don't give up and you get confidence in yourself to do it.
How long took you to prepare?
So I was in advance on the course, but then because we had a miscommunication about the project, we were thinking that we had to do a project that didn't need to be implemented in the company, but actually needed to be implemented in the company. So then I had to talk with Beta and Jill Bev to see which project we're gonna put for the company. And then we went through, we found the project, and then I had to start again. So it took me, I think I started in January 23, and I finished in November 24.
You are able to complete the course in less than a year, no? If everything goes to school. But the duration is 1 year.
It needs to be 12 months maximum. You cannot pass it, the minimum, sorry, you cannot pass it under 12 months. So sometimes I was too much in advance that my teacher was like, okay, you need to take extra now because you have the time, you have hours to do.
Yeah.
So he was saying to me, okay, you need to do some extra staff meeting, do something like extra project or something because we need to add some hours. Because we need to have a quota of hours to be able to go to the projects. So we had to, I was taking extra, I don't know, even bright project or this kind of things. So at least I could reach the hours I needed to be able to go to the getaway. So you cannot pass it without passing the hours because if you go too quick, I think you're gonna miss some of the important step.
Any challenges apart from the hours?
English.
I'm half English, but
I know.
am I correct?
That's what I'm so sure it's good.
Yeah, the English was really complicated, especially when it's not my first language. So it was, I wanted to give up a lot of time, especially for the writing, because for us talking in English is quite easy because we speak in English every day, but writing is a different way, you have different format to speak in English. You're not gonna write an email like you're gonna speak to your friend as well. There is a different way of, if I'm gonna speak to Ellen or if I'm gonna speak to a guest. So there is different formats. So this is why it was so complicated for me also to pass the writing, because as she said, it's about all our companies. So when we had the writing, was like I had to create an email of a guest and was complaining about something, and it was like you have to do all the body of the email. We don't really do. We should do, but we don't really do it. So it's an email that should be like this. So it was quite hard.
What's your favorite part of your journey?
I think learning new skills. I think it was very good. But the skills that you can learn, but it's not the same if you learn it, if you dedicate to learn it. Let's say, I think I changed a lot on the way I was when I start the course and after I start the course, because I understand better about leadership, managing people, and different theory and methods that you can use, because there is not only one method, there is a lot of methods. And if you go to the apprenticeship, you will see that is a lot of things to learn. You can read books, you have a lot of videos, it's very interesting and it's very good for your future. Then it's
Can you give another example of part of leadership, like a skill?
Leadership, managing people, then you have Yeah, project management. Then we have like, I don't know how to create the coach, how to manage a budget, how to manage, the finance. There are so many things. Is more deep. That's what we do. Let's say in Z we have what they ask us to do, but there is much more behind. So you learn most of the, let's say you're gonna learn about finance, F&B, revenue, everything in once. That's if you are in here, you're gonna more being focused on the team and the operation in the hotel. You're gonna explore more things that you don't learn. So it's a very interesting backstage of what you are doing, extra skills.
Ready for L6. Break.
No, it was very nice. It was a long journey, but it was also it was a bit stressful in one point because for me it was very hard to learn new things. I have difficulty at school. I was not very good, so I had to focus and spend a lot of time on it to make sure I was understanding exactly what I had to learn. So, but it's very a good journey. I think everyone should give a go on. But if you give a go, just don't give up. You need to do it until the hands.
Which level have you done?
Level 5, operation manager. Nice. If I have to do it again, I will do it again.
But Chloe prize with distinction. So.
Yeah, it's the first time in my life.
So it was the first time.
Yeah.
No. But that just shows you, doesn't it? You didn't give up, because you found it hard. You are a perfectionist. You like to, you wanted to do really well. And it took a bit longer, but that's fine. So the end result was worth it. But it did obviously take quite a lot to hold in terms of hours.
You have a lot of time. I was going to sleep and was like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm gonna give up. I think is you need to self motivate and just think about the reward you're gonna have at the end, like being proud of yourself or your family being proud of you as well, company being proud of you as well. So it's all about your own feeling as well. It's something that you will need forever because all these skills you learn it's skills that you will apply every day in your daily basis. It's not only at work, it's also in your personal life.
What you said earlier, this really means what you said.
Yeah. Any more questions? The night is your turn.
And next is Donald.
Thanks, Joy.
Thank you, Chloe.
Hi everyone. I think Chloe said a lot for me, but from my personal experience, I completed the SVQ in Hospitality Management Level 8. I think the courses do differ slightly from England to Scotland, but I think the principles are very similar. The timescale for my course was 9 months to just over a year, they said, but I managed to do it in about 7 months, which was amazing. What I liked about it was the fact that it broke down the role into different manageable modules. So it really made me think about how I do things, doing things differently, and stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. In terms of challenges, I didn't have too many. There's two things that kind of concerned me before I started, and one was, how will I find the time to do this? Where will I find the time? But you are able to find the time. You can do it at your own pace. That's one of the good things. That's one of the best things about it. As we know in hospitality, things don't always, days and weeks don't always go as you expect. But you can, if 1 week's particularly busy, you can then not do it that week and then pick up the following week. So it's really manageable. The other is a time scale itself. 9 months can seem like a long time, but it flies in. And before you know it, you're doing your last assessment and you get your certificate. So it's amazing how quickly it flies in. I would recommend it. I was supported all the way through. I think it was great. I didn't find it too challenging. I thought that I would, but you're supported all the way along, so I would definitely recommend. I felt really proud. You know, when I was finished, I was super proud and surprised at the time flew in so quickly.
Thanks, Lily. Any questions or comments?
What's the format of your end assessment, Donald?
What was that, Jill? Sorry?
What was the format of your end assessment? Did you, because obviously there were different styles of, did you have to do, like Chloe did a project, so I know it was slightly different in Scotland, wasn't it? And you did a different level. So,
Yeah, there was no, I think someone mentioned it earlier, there was a personal statement that I had to do with my tutor at the very end. So I had to prepare for that and really talk at length about what I'd learned and what my development will be, everything that I've taken forward. So, but mainly it's broken down into achieving the modules.
Any questions for Donald? No? They're very shy to ask. Well, any question, Justina? Sorry, I didn't ask you.
I asked actually before it will be more for Bernadette. I asked you on the break, but I think maybe it will benefit the team members. If someone already got university or other qualification degree, does it mean that they can't join the apprenticeship, or how would it work together?
Yeah. So obviously, if you've got a degree or a higher qualification already in hospitality management, then you wouldn't be able to do the qualifications. But if you've got a degree in geography or physics, then you absolutely can do the apprenticeships. It's only if you've got something akin that's higher, you can't then go below. If it's a different sector, different environment, you can absolutely do the qualifications with us.
In line to what Justina question, thank you, Justina, it prompted me. What is, how do we be eligible to apply for apprenticeship? Do we have to be?
Eligibility, you have to be 16 or over. But there's no upper limit. You can be any age. We've got a 74-year-old commie chef on at the moment. Yeah, any age. You have to be a UK resident or been in the UK or EU for 3 years plus. And as long as you can hit the maths and English requirements, then yeah, that's the only eligibility.
Thanks, Bernadette. Just maybe you asked the question, depending on the level of your apprenticeship, that is depending on how long you will complete it. And for Glasgow, they have a very different way in educational system. I don't know why they say, please ask, feel free to ask question about, about them. So that's the reason why that they have a very short courses. And the leveling is also higher. Gets higher and higher for certain, like 6 to 8 months, they can complete it already. However, this is our heat training extended to Bath, Liverpool as well. And to wrap up our meeting for today, we'd like to have a few words from our executive team. And we will start with them. So sorry, Beth.
Start with who? With you?
With you. Start with you.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll stand up actually. You can see, so I can't see you all back there. Hey, all doing? You're all very quiet today. Sarah's asked a few questions, but the rest of you are very quiet. So, I guess the interesting thing for me actually is that, and I talked about this earlier with the managers here, and obviously Gonzalo, you're here this afternoon too. So, hospitality, I think, is an industry where quite often people fall into hospitality, and probably stay away from education a little bit, but find a career in hospitality. But I think hospitality can give people a very accelerated career. And I think part of the apprenticeship program, or the benefits of going on apprenticeships really, is it encourages people to get themselves educated in a work-based environment, which is very difficult, very different than an academic learning environment, because it actually becomes much more relevant. Okay, I think it can accelerate your career much quicker. When I was talking earlier, there was the whole room was full of hotel managers and area managers, and all of them joined us as GSAs, apart from Amir at Soho, who joined us as a night manager, right? One of the challenges I think we find as a business is that when people come up through the hierarchy in Z, They start as a GSA and then they become a duty manager and then they become a hotel manager and an area manager. So quite often their depth of knowledge is quite limited because they haven't worked in other businesses. Okay, they only have Z knowledge. Okay, but I think one of the big advantages of the apprenticeship programs that we're starting to encourage more and more people to go on to is that you have a lot more experiences and a lot more knowledge from other industries, from other people. It broadens your horizon a little bit. It makes you look outside of the world of Z too. Okay, so that actually when there's challenges or when there's situations, you've got more depth of knowledge to pull on. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits that the apprenticeship program offers. We already pay into this fund. So the money's already there to pay for the apprenticeship programs. So it doesn't cost us any money. It means that we're investing in our own people. So, a lot of people stay away from education in the UK because it's expensive, right? And people don't want to incur those debts. Living in London is hard enough as it is, just paying your bills, right? So the thought of then spending more on education is a very limiting factor. In this, you don't pay anything. We pay for it, okay? Although we pay for it, actually, you can see it as a government-funded scheme, if I'm honest with you, because we have to pay to the government and it's funded back off of that. So for me, it's all the more important to encourage increasingly more team members to join in the apprenticeship programs. Now, some of you wouldn't qualify because you haven't been in the UK for 3 years, perhaps like the interns, a lot of you haven't been here for 3 years, so you wouldn't necessarily qualify yet, okay? But as you become duty managers into the future and hopefully you stay with us beyond that, then you will qualify. In the meantime, what I would say to you is talk to your teammates. The reason why you're here is to talk to your teammates and encourage them to talk to us about the apprenticeship program, okay? Because it is really beneficial. It really can help people's careers. And it also gives you qualifications that will help you beyond Z, okay? So they're life skills. They're not skills that are just going to help you in your Z environment. They're skills that are going to help you for your career, okay? So encourage teammates to take it on board as much as possible. The more people we can have on the apprenticeship programs, the more skilled we become and the better quality we become. Plus, if you want to push yourself forward, the more knowledgeable you are, the more experienced you are, the quicker you'll become a duty manager, okay? And hopefully a hotel manager, and then hopefully an area manager, okay? And that's all I would say to you is really make the most of it and encourage as many as your teammates to sign up for the apprenticeship program. Well, certainly to explore it, because I think at all levels it can really add a lot of value, okay? And like I said, you don't have to pay for it, right? Which education in the UK genuinely is very expensive. I mean, the interns know that because you've got to pay for your education here, right? It's not cheap. Whereas actually this is paid for, right? Any questions for me? I'd like to say thanks for coming along to explain actually what the apprenticeship program is. I think it is a really, genuinely, it's a very valuable thing. One other thing I would say to you is that when I finished my career, and I told everybody in the room this earlier, when I started my career and Jill started her career at a similar age to me, the apprenticeship programs in those days was something called YTS. It was a youth training scheme, right? And people earned £25 a week and were treated so badly. Okay, so when you talk to anybody of our generation, apprenticeships have a really bad reputation. Okay, but actually, I think from that, when the government relaunched the apprenticeship levy a few years ago, that really is a radical difference to the way the apprenticeships were first introduced 50 years ago or 40 years ago. Okay, this is a proper program, and I don't very often support government, especially currently, but on this occasion, I think the apprenticeship schemes are a truly beneficial thing for improving the quality of the workforce across many industries where often skills are fairly limited. Okay. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just agreeing with what Bev said. I think the key thing for me is the fact that it gives you that greater external look from outside of Z. So you get more ideas from other people. You're going to meet people online, different same obviously qualification, but coming from different other businesses. And I think there's obviously lots of support. There's lots of support within Z, so it's a great way to learn. Whilst it does require a commitment, I think for me, that depth that you'll get is the main benefit of the apprenticeship. it's, I can say it. I think it's just finding the right level. Which level do you actually feel is the right level for you to go in at? So that's the key thing to explore with HR team Bernadette. If you are interested, is work out what level it is that's appropriate for you. So yeah, I think it's a great thing. And just thanks to Chloe and Don for bringing it to life. The fact we have people here already who've actually been through it and been very successful. And yes, it hasn't been easy, but you know, I think that just shows what is possible. So I think thanks to both of you. Scotland is slightly different, but Scotland likes to be different, doesn't it, Donald? So
Yeah,
again,
have to be.
but I mean, that just, you know, shows what's possible, really. But, you know, it doesn't have to be level 5, level 7, it can be or level 8, it can be level 2. You know, it's the same process and just at a different level. So that's
You can. I think there's a need to realize that not a lot of companies are sharing this with their employee, because this is all company can do that for their employee because this is a program of care. But when I speak with, I have a lot of friends working in other hotels company and stuff. None of them, they know about this. So I think it's an opportunity that Z is offering to you, and you should take it into consideration.
I should have a question. Michael mentioned already, but how was the initial level that you start at? Like in the previous assessment, are we maxing the English test?
So what we do, so and so we've got the fact sheets for the different qualifications we offer, and we send out the most appropriate ones we think will suit you in your job role currently, and then that's when you do that skill scan. So if you are suddenly 8s, 9s, 10s on all the elements, they go, actually, you already know this qualification really well, maybe we'll stretch you to the next one, but that's why it's important that we have your line manager involved in that. So it's a really open, honest conversation about this is actually where your skill set sits, this is where we're going to stretch you to, or the other way around, actually, you're already here, what's the next level we can go to? As Jill was saying, it's about getting the right one for you. So you don't lose interest, we want to make it fun that you are learning the skills, but also it's not too much that then you drop off because you think, oh, it's too much for me to do.
And I suppose it's also relevant to the role, isn't it? You need to get the on-the-job experience of, you know, you need to link it with what you're doing. So the qualification needs to link with your day-to-day job. So I think we have had maybe some people who want to do a higher level, but maybe their job role hasn't allowed them to. So they might have other qualifications. People, I don't want to do at level 2, so they've got a level 5 and something else. But it's then not been really appropriate because their job doesn't allow them to practice and demonstrate the skills they need to achieve the apprenticeship. So yeah, you've got the fact sheets, haven't you, for each one? So.
Really happy to share after this one as well. And then Ross, we haven't forgotten you.
Again, there's very much been said, but I just want to say thank you for taking the time out to be and listen to us. It's a project that obviously is really quite important to us. Learning and development is key to said, because we do have very clear learning and development pathways. So it's really important we can embrace it, not just kind of for yourselves, if it's what you want to do kind of as a positive of your learning, but also being champions. I think that's said earlier. Amongst their colleagues, it's really important that we can start talking about it because it's a great resource. We've got the money sat there, and we need to be using that money to do what we do best, which is developing people. So please talk amongst your teams when we get back to your hotels. And we will actually support with some posters. I'm not sure if they've gone out yet, but we will do some literature and some posters so you can share those too.
Is what I'm ready to say?
Don't you look at when Helen goes next year?
I think everything has been summarized in a nice way and switch on.
And a huge thank you to you, Bernadette, for reaching out to us and just to come in here in person, just to educate us basically on what is the apprenticeship program is all about. And hopefully the process now is clear, so we know what the next step is just to sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's got other questions you didn't ask today, or you weren't sure, or you've gone away like what's going to say about that, just reach out and get my details. You can give me a call or WhatsApp and maybe you want explaining or on a one-to-one basis in particular.
And thanks to you guys for coming in today and to our executive team for the support. And And we will also share the recording with you guys so that you can actually cascade the information or share the information across. And thank you to James. So James says thanks to everybody. Yes, and that's it.
Thanks, Helen.